Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
And tonight we'll be reviewing that, review the genres for me, Mike.
Well, wait a minute. Okay, before we mention the name of it, this falls under the banner, as a genre banner of rock, musical, horror, comedy film. No, it's not Rocky Horror Picture Show.
But it feels a little bit like that almost.
It's called, drumroll please,
Phantom of the Paradise, which was released in 1974.
Exactly right.
And this is probably our third Phantom of the Opera type theme movie.
Yeah, we've done Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge.
Yeah, and we did, and yes, I mean weeks and months ago, we did the Phantom of the Opera with
the Phantom version, wasn't it?
Yeah, the one that was done in I can't remember
way back when.
Way back when.
My favourite one.
A good one.
Yeah, go on. The English one, yeah.
Yeah, that Hammer did.
Yeah, Hammer. If I had a hammer, sorry.
Anyway, this one, according to some people, I don't think too many people have reviewed it or even.
Well.
It hasn't too much, and I don't think too many people cult following probably know about it.
Yeah, well, it didn't fare well in the theatres, but it did develop a cult following. So, having said that, I mean, a lot of interesting movies have gained fame after its theatrical run. So, yeah.
And there's some really good music in this movie.
Yeah, well, Paul Williams, that short guy, Paul Williams, he wrote the musical score for this production.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
And he also acted in it.
Yeah, he's an actor as well as a bit of a musical artist.
He's a musician. He writes scores. He does the acting. He's a bit of an all-rounder. He sings, dances, makes tea and coffee.
Yeah, very cool.
I love tea and coffee. I like to taste his coffee. I wonder if he's a good barista.
Oh, don't go there.
Okay. Now, I'm going to do my usuals. Produced by Edward Pressman. Directed by and written by Brian De Palma. Music by, like I said before, I don't normally do the music, but I'm doing it this one because it's a musical. Music by Paul Williams. He wrote all the tunes, I believe. Now, getting back to the box office side of things. Budget was 1.3 mil, and I can't understand why they got it done so cheap, because all the sets involved and a few things, and
they were really good sets,
and a lot of people involved and whatever. But yeah, they've worked to a budget. Now, the film was a box office failure, supposedly. I don't know what the figures were. And received negative reviews, while earning praise for its music and receiving Academy Awards and Golden Globe nominations.
Sweet.
Well, go figure. I mean, it's horrible, nasty, and everything else, but we got nominations. I don't know. I don't understand the system. However, over the years, the film has received much more positive reviews and has become a cult film.
Sweet.
That is why we are reviewing it this evening, folks.
It's just a shame that every time they do an independent film that's out of the blue, that's new and different.
It's a little bit different to say we don't like it.
We don't like it.
Even the reviewers, the critics couldn't agree on it. Some said, it's a load of crap, blah, blah. And the other goes, it's really nice and, pretty good, imaginative and blah, blah, blah. And like, it's a parody. It's poking fun at the music industry.
Yeah.
And they're taking the theme out of, I'll just mention in a moment, where are we? The story is loosely based on and adapted from the following novels. The Phantom of the Opera, a 1910 novel by Gaston Leroux. The Pitch of Dorian Gray, an 1890 novel by Oscar Wilde. Faust, early 1800s, book by Johann Goethe, the German guy. And not to be left to the last, but diminishing his responsibilities here, Dr. Faust. This is the first written encounter of this subject matter that we can find. 1590 by Christopher Marlowe. No, I don't believe Christopher Marlowe and Shakespeare are the same guy, even though there's lots of things indicating
You'll
that.
find that, I think I mentioned this in the past, that in some of these Phantom of the Opera movies, you'll find that they often do the Faust story play in the movies.
Yeah, they do it. I mean, it's a good theme. I sold my soul to the devil for eternal youth, or whatever. Yeah. Or something.
Although I think that the theme of it, that apart from this movie that uses that theme, another movie I will mention much later on. I won't do it now or next year or just yet, but it has let me see. I think it's a good one where the Phantom ends up selling his soul to the devil. But that one, I'll talk to you guys about that one next time.
What's it called? Give me a hint.
It's the same thing called Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, okay.
I can't really.
It's another Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, but it's different, and it has
slightly different theme.
And it has the actor who plays Freddy Krueger who plays the Phantom in that one. But again, I'm drifting ahead.
Not doing that tonight.
We're doing this one tonight. So let's start talking about the stars of this production.
These stars. From William. William Finley plays Winslow. What's that? Lynch.
Yeah, just call him Winslow.
No,
I often do.
I did a typo when I typed it in. Yeah, Winslow Leach, and he also plays the Phantom. We will get into his role later, obviously. Paul Williams plays Swan, Mr. Swan to you.
Yeah.
He plays a record producer, nasty guy.
And an owner of a nightclub.
Yeah, an owner of a nightclub. Yeah, we're getting that. I'm just saying. Okay, he's a nasty guy. He's the antagonist. Now, he is also the singing voice for the Phantom. Now, I didn't know Paul Williams could sing, but he writes the tunes, he can sing them, but Backrat doesn't, he can't sing either. Now, get on. Jessica Harper, she plays the lead female in this.
Yeah.
She plays a girl by the name of Phoenix.
That's our Christine in this story.
Yeah. Now, the thing is that I can't find anything to the contrary, so I think she did her own singing in this. And it's indicated because I did a bit of a look around through her profiles, and I think she cut a record for children, which could be nursery rhymes or something or other, or kiddie songs or something. So she may well have done her own singing.
We tried to look it up,
couldn't find anything.
But we couldn't find it.
Yeah.
It could be, maybe it's just...
but having said that, she did her own little dance routine on stage when she was singing a song there for the audition. And I start to think she might sing and dance a little bit as part of her training. Wait a minute, I say something. Because I saw her a couple of years later in a movie called Suspiria, which was done in 1977, and that was based in a ballet school.
Yeah.
So she moves really good. So she might have done some singing and dancing as part of her acting training.
Yeah, I think that you could be right. I mean, she may... I mean, in acting schools, sometimes... Depending on where you go, I guess.
If you've got other talents, I try to bring those out.
If you have other talents like singing, dancing, or just acting generally, they would. Well, that's probably much what most actors would be trained to do. They would probably be trained in more than one skill.
There's straight acting, and then if you can sing and dance a bit, you work on a bit of polish that a little bit, in case you've got to go into a different role and different. Well, another string to your bow, so to speak. Now, I won't go through everybody else.
Yeah, because those three people, they're the main ones, and they're more focused on those three.
However, there's one person who isn't in the movie, but his voice is, right at the beginning. Like an introduction.
Narrator.
Well, I think it's more of an introduction than a narrator. It's an opening monologue. So it's more of a monologue. So uncredited introduction by... Rod Serling. Oh, see, Ben, when this was made back in 1974, it was a year or so after the Night Gallery.
Yeah.
So, and the Night Gallery was a couple of years after the Twilight Zone. So everyone knew Rod's voice.
Yeah, Rod was the narrator or the
host, whatever.
Introducer of each Twilight episode.
Twilight Zone episode and the Night Gallery. Yeah.
Yeah,
so good old, but I think he passed away a year or so after this.
Yeah, that's a shame.
He died too young. Yeah.
Anyway, he was an awesome guy who just often did that.
Actually, when he was writing some of his stuff there was it Twilight Zone or Night Gallery? I think I can't remember. He got exhausted. He passed over the writing to somebody else.
Oh.
I can't remember who it was. which one it was. But yeah, he worked very hard this trade, and he died too young. So
The poor man.
Anyway, do you want to get rolling into the plot and unfold
might
it
as well.
before? And I will jump in occasionally for comment.
Yeah,
can I?
sure.
Okay, goody.
Anyway, Rod Serling begins the story. He talks about an evil, twisted man who's sold his soul to the devil, all that stuff, and the nightclub, all that stuff. I won't go into details.
Lucifer? No.
Anyway, we then cross over to the nightclub, as I mentioned, of the Paradise, which is a really awesome nightclub owned by the mysterious and unknown Mr. Swan, who never has his photo taken, never has been interviewed, probably whatever. I don't know how he gets the word out, being known, but
well, he's mysterious.
Yes. Anyway, he's this big record label and as well as nightclub owner.
Yeah, he gets acts, brings them up, makes money out of them, like all the other leeches do.
His latest act is called The Juicy Fruits.
Well, actually, they play several roles. There's a three-piece singing combo. They're called the Juicy Fruits, and then they're called some surfing sort of thingy,
Surfing
whatever.
dudes. I always call them. I always thought they sound a little bit like the Beach Boys.
Well, it was a parody of the Beach Boys, and then they did some glam rocky stuff at the end of it.
Yeah,
all part of it. Yeah, so they had three different incarnations.
Yeah.
Well, the retrospective sort of what do you call it? Yeah, the old rock stuff they were doing was good, but let's move on to the next level, surf rock, and then they move on to the next bit, which is glam rock. Yeah.
So in this scene, they're dressed like as if they're back in the 1960s.
Yeah, a bit like the Sha-na-nas. Who remembers the Sha-na-nas, folks?
Don't know. Don't care.
She don't know. I lived through the Sha-na-nas.
Yeah, and after these guys, a young, talented composer and piano player named Winslow, he does his session, if you will, and he plays a beautiful bits of music.
Yeah, one thing I read it is they were actually getting the club set up, testing some acts.
Oh, I see.
And then after they were doing tests, he just took over the piano for a while. Yeah.
Swan listens and thinks the music's great, but he doesn't like the artist much.
He didn't want to put him up, but the music was good, so he's going to rip him off,
yeah.
just like all the other Phantom of the Operas.
Yeah, so his assistant approaches Winslow and tells him, guess what, Swan likes your work and he wants to produce you. And so he went ahead, took some of the work and went ahead.
He took all his work.
And when Winslow's work goes down to the record label, they shoot him out.
Yeah, so we don't want anything to do with him.
Yeah.
But he ripped off all his music, didn't he?
Yeah, and then Winslow decides to go directly to the Dragon's Cave by going to Swan's house.
Yes.
He goes there. He sees 1,000 girls in line auditioning,
the old casting couch auditioning,
yes. And he meets a girl named Phoenix, a beautiful
really
girl,
pretty.
and very talented.
Yeah,
she
she can
sings
sing
beautifully. Too. And he falls in. I think he likes her the moment.
Well, he heard her sort of singing a few bars of song and said, "Oh, that's very nice. Got a nice voice." Yeah. The other girls they couldn't sing to save their lives, but she had a good voice.
Anyway, girls would get ushered into the room, and of course, Phoenix didn't want anything to do with this, and says she just says she's not having this because she doesn't do this sort of thing.
Not that sort of casting, no.
And so she runs out, and Winslow, he tries to sneak in to get to meet Swan, but Swan and his henchmen knock him out.
Yeah, and they beat him up, and they plant some drugs on him, so the police pick him up and put him in jail.
Yeah.
As a drug pusher.
And then our poor Winslow, when he's in prison, he gets his teeth ripped out.
It's supposed to be for dental hygiene in the prison because people get a lot of gum disease, and they're doing what they said, volunteers. They're just picking a handful of prisoners and ripping the teeth out and giving them metal teeth. However, this prison was sponsored by Mr. Swan.
No surprise there.
Yeah. The plot does thicken, folks.
Yeah, so Winslow's become a victim, a horrible victim in this movie. As I said to you guys in the past, each Phantom is a victim of horrible misfortune.
Yeah.
And Winslow is just one of many of them.
Poor little fellow.
Anyway, Winslow does eventually escape, and he tries to go back to the record label and tries to destroy the music that Swan is creating, his work. I mean, Winslow's work. And he tried to destroy them, but then his head gets crushed in a record press.
A record pressing machine.
Yeah.
And that'd be hot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and one side of his face gets burnt and damaged.
And it damages his vocal cords as well.
Yeah. And he runs out and he ends up falling headfirst into a river.
The East River or something? Yeah, East River. Yeah, it's always the East River. What the hell? What's wrong with having a West River for a change?
Anyway, the newspapers print that a talented composer who escaped from jail has now died. Okay. Then
we couldn't locate the body though.
Yeah. So anyway, we cross over to the paradise, and Winslow is in point of view shot wise. POV. My favorite shot in the world, because I love it when the camera is the
eyeballs
eyes of the killer or the person who's been victimized.
Yeah.
So he wanders into the paradise. He goes to the stage theatre costumery,
the wardrobe area,
and he steals a costume and a mask.
I found it's an owl mask.
Yeah,
it's a parody of an owl. Yeah, it doesn't look much like an owl to me, but it looks like.
And the outfit looks really cool.
Weird. Yeah.
So they start doing rehearsals of his music using new lyrics, I think.
Yeah, well, they got the lyrics. They corrupted the lyrics. They use the basic music with it, but they changed the tempo and the beat and everything.
And this time, this is what I mentioned earlier about how in this scene it looks like the Beach Boys. The sound does. Anyway.
Wait a minute. The original name of the band, like the Shana Nas, was called the Juicy Fruits, and then they rebranded their name as the Beats Bums. And then they call them something else later on.
Weird.
Yeah, well, there you go then.
Well, bands do change their names. Look at Alice Cooper. Their band name changed a couple of times. Years ago. What is it?
No, I just trying to see. No, I can't find what the other name was.
Rebrand
again as a glam rock act, but doesn't say what the name of the new.
It probably wasn't important.
Well, I like to know these things.
Anyway, not important. So, anyway, they're rehearsing the music. Everyone's singing in different lyrics.
Do-woppy crap.
And our Phantom loads a bomb into
a prop car,
and he watches from a safe distance, and Swan notices him from the safe distance, and notices right away, boom.
It didn't kill the Juicy Fruits, so unfortunately. What a shame.
We could have washed those guys out.
Yeah, they were they're good. Actually, though, as musicians and singers, they're good. Don't get me wrong.
Swan soon finds the Phantom, and he then tells them that they could work together.
Let's make a deal, folks.
Yeah, well, deal with the devil, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, at this point in time, Winslow doesn't know Swan's true character, his true nature, so to speak.
And Swan says, trust me, but I don't trust him as far as I can throw him.
So he had his contract the size of a telephone book. Says,
anyway, before we get to that, he starts auditioning, I guess, chorus girls. I guess that's the word. Backup girls. Yeah. And Then Phantom notices Phoenix there, whom he didn't know her name at first, but he now knows, and she sings a beautiful song. She sings "Especially Me" or something. I love that song. Yeah. It was great, especially how she did a bit of a dance number too.
Yeah, she moves really good. So I think she had some dancing and singing training as part of her acting. Yeah,
of course. And
don't know.
Eventually, we then see the Phantom in his sanctorium, whatever, I don't know what.
He's in a sanctum.
He's in a sanctum.
Sanctorium. You're turning Latin, are you?
Sorry. That's a bit of a cross between being a studio, like a sound studio, to like the Phantom of the Opera's type, piano sort of thing.
Well, it's a computer room.
Yeah.
It's a sound studio like you'd have in a recording studio.
Yeah. In that room, Swan was able to create a special speaker that allows the Winslow to speak.
Oh, the room he was in there full of big knobs and everything, that sound room. No, that's a real place. And it's still around today.
Wow.
How's it?
Yeah. Anyway, that was impressive.
I'll talk about it when the production notes later. Yeah.
Yeah. So finally, Winslow can speak, even though his speech is rather faint and it sounds robotic.
Yeah, a little bit like a Finnish death metal band. Like that, yeah. You can't understand totally.
Yeah, but luckily enough, he can talk and all that. Anyway,
Yes.
Swan puts him to work on his cantata.
A cantata, that's correct,
His cantata is the music he stole that was actually a full musical.
It's a big rock opera type thing.
Rock opera. Yeah. And it's sort of based off Faust. This is where the Faust story comes into it, where Winslow, was writing a cantata that's based, off that story.
Funny.
Anyway, he puts him to work, and he works day and night into working.
No time off on the weekends. No.
Yeah, his only diet of is pills.
Yeah, he keeps him pilled up, uppers, downers, sideways,
Yeah, while he's writing, Swan is doing his own auditions by, instead of casting Phoenix as the lead singer, he's making a washed up drama queen type singer named Beef.
Yeah,
the
Beef.
singer.
What if it's supposed to like Meatloaf? No.
Probably.
But anyway,
Who knows?
But he's referred to in the notes here as a glam rock prima donna.
Yeah.
Yes.
Practically like a Clotter type, only male.
Yeah.
Anyway, while the Phantom is busy writing the scores, Swan is going out and meeting his new singer and doing the auditions and rehearsals, yada yada yada, and announcing to the world, Beef is our new singer for this upcoming opera, yada yada yada.
Beef might be new, however, think of all the vegetarians out there.
Yeah, so eventually Swan gets the final score, and he goes off and gets his men to brick up the Phantom's room. Isn't that right?
Yeah, the recording studio is in. Yeah.
Yeah. So they
what a way to go!
So they brick it up, and and the people start rolling in to watch this latest awesome.
But in the
piece.
meantime,
but when Winslow wakes up, he screams and he scares the
crap out of Beef.
Beef, yeah. He's very dramatic. He's like a very very scared.
Girly.
Eventually, the Phantom rips through the
he smashes the wall down. He doesn't rip through it. He smashes the wall down.
He smashed the wall down.
The mortar hadn't set properly. Yeah, to hold the bricks together.
Yeah, and he's out and he terrorizes the poor Beef. Tells him, if you so much as sing, I'll kill you.
Now this is quite funny here because really this is a bit of a reenactment out of Psycho.
Yep.
Beef's in the shower, and you see someone coming on the other side of the shower curtain. This knife goes there and cuts through the shower curtain, and you think, oh, he's going to kill him. No, he gets a plumber's, what do you call it?
A plunger.
A plunger, and he shoves it right across his mouth so he doesn't say anything, and he threatens him, if you sing this song, I'm going to kill you or something or other. Yeah.
Only Phoenix is allowed to sing the song. But it doesn't stop them. They can... He's back. He's forced by the Swan's assistant to go back to his studio, get himself done up, and get ready.
Yeah, Beef is going to do a run up at this point in time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so he goes onto stage. This bit is gone glam rock style, and the set reminds me a little bit of the cabinet of Dr. What was it?
Dr. Kelly. Oh, yeah. Actually, I was just having a look at it again. The Beats Bums had become a band called the Undeads, and they were going to back Beef.
Oh, so you know them now.
Yeah. I was just looking for a note. I got too many notes here. And, yeah, they all, the backing singers and stuff were all done up like...
Like Rocky Horror Picture Show.
No. The backing band was done like the guy out of the Cabinet Dr. Caligari, but Beef was done up like Rocky Horror. Yeah, the creature in Rocky Horror. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah,
of course, went halfway through his song, the Phantom takes a giant neon lightning bolt and throws it across the stage and zaps dear old Beef to death.
And Well, let's just say it wasn't a pretty sight, folks.
No, I like the faces he makes.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, what if it smells like chicken when you cook at home?
I don't know.
There you go.
Anyway, the assistant tells Phoenix, "You're on," meaning you have to
Sing now.
So she sings "Old Souls,"
What a beautiful song. And everyone loves it.
Yeah, it was very soft, very peaceful, and very, very nice. And everyone loved it. And she was praised, and Swan says, "Let's go back to my place and a nightcap."
And he offers her stardom and stuff, and she'd do anything for it. In the end, she decides to succumb to his charms. And
Yeah, before we get to that...
No, at that point, she says she agrees to go for the ride.
Yeah.
And do whatever he wants. I wasn't going to the end.
Okay, before we get to that, she's as she's heading out of her dressing room, there's a huge mound of crying fans wanting to say, "Hi, Phoenix, we want to have your autograph.
We want a piece of you. Take us a finger or."
Yeah, unfortunately, the Phantom he guides her up to the top
roof
level, which makes me think of the scene between Christine and Rao when they often escaped.
Went to the roof.
Yeah,
so have a chit chat.
Yeah, so Phantom shows her that Beef being towed away in an ambulance or in a black bag.
Here's a takeaway.
Yeah.
He's been cooked, ready to go. Yeah.
And he tells her who he is, even though she knows he's dead.
She could remember him at that point in time.
Yeah, she knows he's dead, obviously.
Well, she didn't know him that well. She met him for a couple of minutes on the stairs earlier on. Didn't remember who he was at that point.
Yeah, well, anyway, she knows that he passed away, but he says that he's not dead, not yet.
He got better.
And he then tells her that she should leave the paradise, leave Swan, and do not...
Get herself to a nunnery and stay there where it's safe.
No, not quite like that.
Oh, okay,
but
whatever.
He just tells her that she's not safe here and she should go before Swan destroys her.
And he almost does, doesn't he?
Yeah, but she says she wants...
He wants the stardom and everything that comes with it. So she breaks away and runs downstairs and jumps into Swan's car.
Yeah, and meanwhile, later that night in Swan's estate, Winslow watches...
Through a skylight.
Her watching them making love. And Winslow tries to kill himself out of pity and feeling a bit... not pity. Hurt.
Hurting so much. He tried to kill himself. However, he saved himself and it doesn't work.
Yeah, for some reason, he's immortal for some reason.
Mr. Swan came up a little bit later on and said, "You can't kill yourself you've got a contract with me and you can't die until I die."
Yeah, see, he signs this... the contract we mentioned, that's the size of yellow pages. We mentioned...
Well, no, just say a phone book. Because we don't know what colour their phone books are in other countries.
Okay, so that's the size of it. Anyway, it looks... the words are printed like if it was back in the
ye old
English, and it's not really a proper contract when you think about it.
Yeah, and squiggly lines, whatever. It goes. Who's going to read it from front?
And he told Winslow to seal it in blood. Write it in blood.
Earlier on. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, now that Phoenix realizes that he's immortal, he tries to stab Swan, but Swan is also contract too.
Yeah, he said, "You can't kill me. I'm under a contract too."
Meaning, yes. Yeah, so later on, we get news that Swan and Phoenix are going on tour, and they're going to do the final scenes of Faust at the Paradise that very night.
And I'm going to do a fake marriage.
Yes, to finish up the Faust thing. So, meanwhile, while this is happening, the Phantom goes to his Swan's secret room. That's a sort of...
part of his recording studio in his mansion thing.
Yeah. See, he then finds the Swan's contract of his own on video.
Yeah, and the videos are important because the videos are the contract, not the piece of paper you're writing on.
Yeah, see, Swan, back in the 1950s or something, whatever.
53.
Yeah, he wanted to take his life because he didn't want to age.
Go old. He had an AIDS thing.
Yeah, and then he was about to slit his wrist, but then the devil appears in a mirror telling him, guess what? I'll give you eternal
life.
youth if you sign this contract and all stuff. And it's for all its conditions.
Yeah, and that's where the picture of Dorian Gray comes in, yeah.
Yeah.
The film and photographs of you will age, but you will remain youthful looking forever.
Yeah.
Yada,
And
yada,
he says,
yada.
and the devil tells him that you must watch this video every night, all your life, so to remind yourself how lucky you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Talk about reruns.
Then we cut to another video where we see Swan asking the Phantom to sign his contract, and then we cut to another scene where Swan is doing the same thing to Phoenix. Oh no, not her. He's probably realizing
She's basket.
See, she's high at this time in the scene, and she's not aware that she's signing away her life.
Yeah, and Swan just pricks a finger and drops the blood in the contract without her even knowing about it properly.
Yeah, while this is happening,
a bit rude.
The Winslow then grabs the video and grabs the I don't know what it's called.
The thingy wingy.
The thing that's put on it's the video in, and throws it into where all the contracts is.
And it sets fire to the room. Oh, goody, folks.
Yeah. He then races towards the to the stage in the paradise, and they're about to do the final. They're
the
gonna,
wedding act.
Yeah. See, also on the video it says that Swan is going to assassinate dear old Phoenix.
Yeah,
on
for
stage.
advertising. Yeah.
Yeah, thinking it's all part of the entertainment. Yada yada yada. Well, entertainment this. Eventually, the Phantom does come across the gunman, and he knocks the gun, shooting the Swan's assistant, who's in
Mr. Philby or something.
Yeah, he's dressed as a priest or a mock-up priest
or bishop or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and anyway, then Winslow, he swings on a rope or whatever, and
doing a Tarzan bit or an Errol Flynn.
He grabs the mask. See, Swan is wearing a
he's wearing a mask in front of everybody. Yeah.
Yes, avoid getting taken photos.
And then you see his hideous, old
face,
horrible face.
Yes.
It doesn't look really pretty.
Yeah.
And
he screams out Winslow, and then Phoenix notices his face and doesn't understand. And then Swan tries to grab her, choke her in a chokehold.
Yeah.
Yeah, screaming out, I want your voice. I
want your voice. I don't know how whatever it puts me, whether he kills her and he gets possessed of the voice and he can pass it on to somebody. I don't know.
I don't know.
It wasn't totally explained properly.
I don't know either. I don't think he intended on making her a star in the end. I think he was just doing this to annoy Winslow when I think about it.
Whatever.
Anyway, moving on. Winslow then grabs a pin from a headdress of a dancer.
Yeah, a big pin thing.
Yeah, and then he stabs it into Swan's chest.
And guess what? He starts to bleed, which means his contract has been destroyed in the fire.
Yeah. So
however.
Yeah, so Swan dies, but also Winslow is dying too.
Because his stab wound before opened up because Swan's dying.
Yeah. Anyway, while he's crawling across the floor, his mask's taken off by a fan or by one of the dancers.
He's not pretty.
And he crawls across the floor, and Phoenix notices his face as he's slowly crawling and dying, and I think he's wording Phoenix and all that stuff, and probably saying "I love you." And I don't know if he's saying "love you" because throughout this scene we just hear a lot of music as in really loudly playing.
Yeah.
But we do hear Phoenix say Winslow, and she slowly approaches him as he dies.
And he dies in her arms while Mr. Swan's body, okay, this is good, I didn't notice before, his body is being passed around like crowd surfing, but the people in the crowd were stabbing him as well.
Yeah.
They wanted to join in the fun, so to speak.
Yeah, and the crowd continues dancing and up a storm, and not aware that there's two deaths in front of them, and the credits roll. Yada yada yada.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It wasn't that enjoyable, folks.
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, The Phantom is a bit of a tragic story.
And always, every rendition of the story, whether it's the Hammer one or somebody else's, or it's always got the same theme.
Yeah,
Some
a tragic
struggling
love
musician.
story.
Well, just struggling musician gets ripped off by some megalomaniac sort of guy, and all the guy he wants recognition and justice, really. And there's a bit of love thrown in there, but there's not necessarily a love scene because the fans don't really fall in love like the Hammer movies and the other ones.
Well,
they had feelings for the girl, but there was no love interest because they had some.
I think I remember in the Hammer one that he was more or less interested in her
voice,
and hopes to teach her to sing.
To teach to be a great singer.
So
and in the other movies had the same sort of theme, except for in the one of the Gerard Butler. There was a bit more of love interest going on there.
But all in all, some of the Phantoms deal with a sad tale of mixed, a bit of love tragedy stuff.
Exactly. Now, a bit of production stuff here, guys.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I love doing this stuff. Now, the record press in which the Phantom got disfigured in was a real pressing plant, an injection moulding press at Pressman Toys. It was a real one. It was made up to look like a record pressing machine.
Got it.
And they said, no, you'll be safe, not a problem. We made it look really good and we put some chocks in there so when it closes, it won't close all the way.
Thanks for goodness.
But no, they didn't realise that the machine was too strong for the chocks to stop it. And it destroyed the chocks that was holding it open. And they had to pull him out at the last minute so he wouldn't get his head caught in there.
That's safe. That's close.
So he was Finley, the William Finley, the Phantom guy, could have been really impressed. I don't know if the heat was on, but he would have got a very sore head. Now, the electronic room in which Winslow composed his cantata and where Swan restores his voice is in fact a real-life recording studio, the record plant. Okay, so he must. So that's another point.
I remember in one scene in the movie where an older lady is in the crowd and she tries to wave to Swan, and I think she was an old love interest of his, and she
for 20 or 30 years ago.
Yeah, and when she shows a photo to a fan, and the photo is like still looks like him.
Yeah, but she's aged.
Yeah, hint. That how old he is.
A little bit like Cliff Richard. Hey, he doesn't age. Anyway, must have been a morphine. No, not with opium. No, one of dogs. The walls covered with knobs are in reality. This is the recording studio. Are an oversized, custom-built electronic synthesizer dubbed Tonto, which still exists today.
Wow.
So that was all real stuff they're using. Now, the Paradise concert scenes were filmed at a place called the Majestic Theatre in Dallas, Texas.
Wow, cool.
Now, this is the part you're going to like. The extras in the audience had responded to an open cattle call for locals interested in being in the film. All that's still there are freebies.
Meaning they really...
We need 100 extras.
So they just jumped around like crazy and it doesn't matter if they're acting or not acting.
No, they just danced to whatever they're doing. Yeah, hung around, whatever, whatever they're told to do, So it was just the crowd scene was a real crowd scene. And now, Sissy Spacek, the actress, was the film's set dresser, assisting her then boyfriend, Jack Fisk. He was a production designer, and she later starred in De Palma's Carrie.
Cool.
Well, there you go then. De Palma, I didn't know De Palma did that Carrie movie with her in it. So there. Now, I won't go about that part. No. It's produced independently. Producer Mr. Pressman then screened the movie to the studios, and he sold it to the highest bidder.
Wow.
For $2 million plus a percentage. So there you go. And so it's hard to find out what the theatre takings were, but I think he made some money because it would have been after the media release. They go through the theatres. It probably went to VHS, and now it's on DVD.
Yeah, I happen
It
to
is
have...
on Blu-ray.
Yeah. I also have some of his the music from the Phantom of the Paradise too.
Okay, yeah.
I have some of my favorites.
All Paul Williams stuff, yeah.
Yeah. I
Now.
certainly like the stuff there. Yes.
I won't go about all reception guys, the critics. Half said, it's a load of crap and bullshit. Well, it didn't go very good. The other guy said, it wasn't too bad, actually. So it gets on to what I keep saying. Don't listen to these jokers. Go and watch it yourself. Yeah.
Exactly, folks.
Even Rotten Tomatoes gave it a high score.
That's good to know.
Yeah. It got 86%. So that's not too bad.
That's always good.
Yeah, let's have a look. Now, eBay. Plenty for sale, guys. I think there's Blu-rays available as well. Amazon, it's rentable on Prime, and there are some for sale. Now, when you're going on these sites, be careful. There are also soundtracks. I went in there to do the movies and TV area, and mixed in with it were things like the soundtrack albums and CDs and stuff. And so, yeah, make sure you click on the right product when you're going in there, because you're going to get the soundtrack and or a VHS tape or a Laserdisc or a DVD or a Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So just be careful. You order the right one.
Yeah, it's always good to
Yeah.
be careful, guys.
Exactly.
You may even get a VHS tape and you don't have a VHS player because,
or a Laserdisc or something or other, yeah.
Yeah, because we're seeing as we're living in the updated times, things have changed a lot.
See, you went from the tapes onto Laserdiscs for a very, very, very short period of time, because after a year or two or something, the DVD technology came out and people said, these are nice and compact and easy to work with. And Laserdisc got left behind. Laserdisc might have been a higher quality, but got left behind. It's sort of like when you had the IBM computers came out and Apple computers came out. One of them had to be the home industry the home standard. The other one became the industry standard.
Yeah.
Beta videos against VHS. Beta was clearly a better product, but VHS beat them on the home market. So yeah, you never know.
Yeah, I do like the Phantom of the Paradise. I like the fact I like the modern, or not modern. I mean contemporary.
Contemporary take's always good.
Take on the Phantom of the Opera.
Well, we did that Eric's Revenge, the Phantom of the Mall. That was another take on the same sort of theme. That was really wide of the mark, though.
Yeah. I came up with my own version of the story one time. I haven't figured out the full story for it yet myself. I've been developing my own version of the Phantom of the Opera.
Well, there you go then.
But again, I have put that on hold to work on my new slasher script.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get something rolling by sometime next year.
Hopefully.
2022.
Yeah.
And whether we make it in Australia or America or UK or somewhere or other, it's going to get made.
I would love it if I can make it here, to be honest. I would love it if for once that... I mean, not for once. I mean, I wouldn't mind if people that more...
It's challenging making movies in Australia because, and I've said it before, and I don't want to insult the people in the industry, but it's really, really hard to get into the industry here unless you know somebody. I mean, really know somebody. If you go to a studio, the studios are very picky because we haven't got too many studios to pick from. They say, oh no, we're not really interested, you're a newbie, won't really care, whatever. But when you go to a place like America where there's a very strong film industry, there seems to be a lot of people there looking for new ideas. So it's really sad that Australia can't follow suit.
Yeah, I just wouldn't mind if they did more different types of movies. Who cares if it's a slasher or horror or even a drama? It's like, provided that you're giving the world entertainment.
Now, you look at it, and over the years, the American film industry is probably the strongest film industry in the world, from what I can see.
Yeah.
In the early days, your movie, your tribute movie you just made, Take the Cat People, that was based on the ideas and concepts of the 1950s B-movie, horror and sci-fi. Now, they churned out truckloads of those movies back in those days. Not overly priced, not overly worked, just good fun movies done to hit the teenage audiences in the drive-in. And they were good fun movies. But another idea, quick, that's a good idea, bring it in, let's make a movie. Here, nowadays, you can't do it quite so easy, or unless it's going to be a slasher movie.
Yeah.
Because now we're getting stuck in that sort of, that formula sort of works here, that's what the people want. That formula works only because that's what the production houses are giving people. If they tried something different, maybe that something different might work too.
Yeah,
anyway,
I miss something different. I always love...
You want to try something different. The music scene changes every so many years, or once a decade. It does a jump, a flip over, whatever.
Yeah.
We went through rock and roll, we went to something else, and we went to disco, we went to that, and blah, blah.
And George A. Romero's work, where he started with the zombie movies, and while while he started off in black and white, and then he made his way up to color and started doing things in different film locations.
See, black and white was a cheaper way to make it.
True.
So the point, colour was still rather expensive. Now it becomes industry standard.
Yeah.
So
I kind of would love it if they could. I just wish I just wish Australia could equal America, in filmmaking.
It would be good, but we have a smaller population, so we don't have as much money per capita or per head of populations, or whatever the demographics, whatever they use.
I mean, if Peter Jackson can make it in New Zealand, I should make it in Australia.
If you mention Peter Jackson one more time... we were talking about Peter Jackson earlier on. Peter Jackson, for you guys who may not know, he made the Lord of the Rings movies, okay? Now, he did some other things before that in New Zealand.
Dead Alive, whatever.
Dead Alive. Now, Dead Alive is a good, fun movie. It's not a great movie, but it showed people he had some talent, and it gave him some street credibility. So when he wanted to raise funds to do the Lord of the Rings and stuff... Yes, he had a track record and was able to raise capital for it. I think he started a production company on the stock exchange. I think it was Wingnut. I think it was. And he raised money by doing share issues and stuff. That's what's up. I mean, somehow we're going to be able to get past this thing and get the governments or the people in the film industries in different countries to throw us a bit more money around, or at least open themselves to better ideas.
At least open up to the that in some. I know that there are a few people in government would often offer funds in art, but they should realise that filmmaking is an art form.
Well, here's something to consider. And someone actually raised this in an argument with a relative of a friend of a friend, sort of thing, of his relatives, that I was a young guy years ago, as we all were, and I was in a band. We were doing rock music, pub rock, And now, we were doing really good. And one of the guys in the band, my rhythm guitarist, he hooked up with this really nice looking lady, and her cousin was into opera. And he said, rock music and pub music, that's crappy music, opera's better than that. And he just turned around and said, well, that's really funny, that's how good it is. At least rock music pays itself. Opera has to be subsidised by the government. It doesn't pay for itself. It's sponsored by the governments. They might sell tickets, but it doesn't cover its cost. In most cases. The governments support it. So how good is the rock industry compared to the opera? I'd say 10 times or 1,000 times better, because it covers its own.
And it covers sales.
Yeah, we cover our own we make money. The opera doesn't make money.
No.
It sells tickets, and that covers the hire of the opera house and different things, and maybe pays some wages to the musicians and whatever, but it doesn't make a load of money.
Yeah, anyway, guys, I'm moving off the subject.
No, I'm just using that as an example,
Sorry if we drifted apart from
We didn't.
guys.
I'm just using an analogy there,
Yeah, I do think that The Phantom of the Paradise was a sort of an independent film. It
was, independent funding.
Yeah, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Way to go, Mr. Edward Pressman.
Yeah, I hope he still continues to work hard.
Interesting. Edward Pressman. Have you look at something in my notes, proofs, and my production notes here? Pressman Toys.
You mean he's
He owns Pressman Toys, and he's the one who financed the movie.
Oh, That explains what.
Well, that tells me he may not even be in the movie industry. They approached the guy and he put money out towards the movie.
That's interesting.
We can't do it in Australia. I've tried to big major country. Oh, we don't do that sort of thing.
A lot of people often approach, even if it's you can, if you donate some money, put some money up to our production, we'll mention your business in our credits.
Oh yeah, it'd be a tax write-off. I mean, they donate money to charities and different other things and other art grants and different things. You're trying to get somebody. I've got to make a movie. No, not interested. Oh, I'm sorry. Sports grants, this, so and so for that. Give the local school that. Give something else. Everyone gets money except the film industry in this country.
Yeah, it just seems like a silly thing to think about.
Yeah, it's really hard. That you have to do campaigns and stuff to try and get it. And if no one knows you,
but
you're not going to make too much money in a campaign either.
I remember a movie that Mike and I didn't really appreciate too much.
Which one's that one?
The one about the mother who reads a creepy book to her son who's having,
that one.
Yeah. This was filmed in Australia, so you guys know.
Oh, it's all got a weird name.
Well, I can't remember even the name. I know
not Jabberwocky. It's got a weird name like that.
I know it begins with a B or something.
Yeah, but the Babadook.
Yeah,
the Babadook. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I remember this film was done in Australia. That I read.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie. It wasn't a great movie.
And also, it was funded independently by on Indiegogo, I think.
Okay,
or is it Kickstarter? Oh, who cares?
No, I think it was Indie. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Anyway, I found their old campaign things on there, and I found there was a bit of a videos with the creators of it too, and how they were trying to do based on use inspirations from older films, like you often talk about silent films and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they mentioned something about silent films.
You cannot knock silent films because that's where it started.
Yeah, an old actor, a previous old actor told me that if in order to make a good horror slasher or whatever, he says to rewatch a lot of old, movies, like even the Carnival of Souls.
Yeah,
and
with
stuff
Candace.
Like that.
Can't remember her name. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Hilly Goss. Yeah.
It was a good, awesome bit of advice, and I appreciate his advice.
Yeah. The guy who made the Carnival of Souls, he wasn't actually a real movie maker either. Remember, I think he used to do business presentations, like audio visuals for businesses and stuff.
Yeah.
He wasn't really a filmmaker. He knew how to run a camera and do a bit of stuff, but he wasn't a real filmmaker.
Anyway, sorry guys. So should we rate this movie?
Look.
Or do you have anything else to add to it?
I've got too much production notes to play with. So, look, I'd rather do a close down now on a positive note. Look, it's not the sharpest movie you've ever seen, but it's a good movie.
Agreed.
The storyline, a little bit predictable. You know it's going to go because everyone knows the story of the Phantom, of the opera.
But again,
if you hadn't seen the other movies or read the book, you wouldn't know what was going to happen next.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm going to put that aside. So looking at the storyline, the storyline is not bad. It's good fun. It's a good basic storyline, not too complicated. You don't need a lot of grey matter to follow it. The music's great.
I think the one thing interesting about it is it's from the Phantom's point of view more than instead of just the usual
about Christina or somebody or whatever.
Christine or Phoenix is the one who's we follow around, even though even though.
But from the poor old Phantom's perspective, and he's following him around, but how he's been screwed over by everybody and everything's taking his work and trashing it, and so it's more that way. But the music's great. Paul Williams wrote some good stuff.
Yeah.
The stuff that Winslow did, he wasn't playing piano. I don't know whose hands it were. It could have been Paul Williams' hands playing piano. I don't know. And Paul Williams actually sang. So Paul Williams does a nice go at singing as well.
I certainly liked it when the character Winslow, he rocked his head back and forth when he was playing, like those passionate piano players who do in like Elton John.
Yeah, but
does.
he's getting into the role the same way as Tom Ellis does in Lucifer. He's not playing piano. He's sitting there pretending to play piano. He's singing a tune, but he's not really playing piano.
You've got to admit, it's kind of cool when they do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They move their sway back and forth and feel like they're enjoying having the time of their lives playing.
Yeah, they probably are singing it. They're possibly actually singing along with it, so they get the lip syncing okay. But even though it might sound like a bag of crap, and then they just do the second audio track over it. Yeah.
Agreed. Well, it's the only way you can get done properly.
I know. So he can hear it going blah 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 blah. Oh, you could at least go in key, Winslow.
Anyway,
I'm going to give it a 9 because it's not as sharp as it could be because it's still a good watch.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10 myself. I think it's really cool, especially the take on it and how it's from Winslow's perspective. Then instead of the usual, who's the Phantom? I don't know. Who is he?
The man in black in the corner over there. Yeah, we can't see him. He's in the shadow. Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Throughout we follow him around instead of the usual. We don't know the Phantom, and it's
I can hear some eerie, awkward music coming from the bowels of the opera house. No. Yeah. That's been done.
Yeah, instead of following either Phoenix or seeing Phoenix as apart from Winslow, who's being the wrongdoing the character. She's the only other character that he associates with.
Yeah, and she... Oh, excuse me. I haven't been sleeping good. That's a good storyline. It's a slightly different perspective. Taking it from the Phantom side of it. Yeah, and it's a good contemporary version. I like it. But I give it a 9 because, some parts I didn't like, could have been done a tad better, but it all works.
It would have been great if that bit with that scene I mentioned about the old lady who tried to approach Swan and say, I used to know him when I was in 1950s, yada yada. It would have been great if there's something to build on that scene.
There's some areas could have been a little bit more dynamic, I think. That's what I think I'm saying. Yeah, that's what you're saying too, I think. Yeah. It just needed that. It didn't have that dynamic tension building up.
But then again, back in the 1970s or those days, they didn't build too much into in the story. They just left it up to the audience to work it out.
Yeah, but still, to make a good movie, it's good to have some light and dark and a bit of tension building. And you didn't have as many jump scares back in those days, but you still had a build up here and there to didn't see that coming. That sort of stuff, and it went along nicely, but it could have done a bit more to build it up.
Anyway, this movie kind of makes me think of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
A tad, especially when Beef was on stage coming out of that container.
Yeah, it makes me also think of Alice Cooper, because Alice Cooper was around this time, doing his crazy thing.
Welcome to My Nightmare concerts and the like.
I think that was a year, that came a year after
actually, another point too, you see... You mentioned Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper was into shock rock at that point in time. And some parts of this movie, they had actually shock rock stuff where they'll actually pretend to cut bodies up and different things. Or mannequins, obviously. Yeah. They're using that sort of theme in it. And they had shock rock and glam rock.
It had audience anticipation. Like in Alice Cooper, there was always... something that he would often use as a prop to take the audience by their ears.
The music is good and it's fun, but it's not a serious movie. It's a parody. Okay, it's poking fun at the music industry. It's using the 3 or 4 different themes. The Phantom of the Opera, Dorian Gray, Faust, throwing it all in there. Let's see what comes out. It works. It's a good story.
Yeah. I don't know why the review guys didn't like it.
Because they can't appreciate every movie they watch.
They just probably didn't understand
No, they can't appreciate every... It gets onto what I said so many times. If you have got an old guy like me, so I'm on the wrong side of 60. Now, if I'm watching a movie... geared for a teenage audience, I'm not going to like it the same way a teenager would. I can sit down here because I like to think I'm mature enough to sit down there and say it's not my style of movie, but it's a good movie. The film is good. The acting's good. The storyline's okay, even though I didn't like the theme of it, whatever, because it's aimed for teenagers. I can still appreciate the work put into the movie and the quality or lack thereof.
Yeah.
And some of these reviewers cannot see this.
Yeah, and another thing I like about this movie is the music.
Oh, the music's excellent,
as you guys are well aware, I'm partial, when it comes to movies, I'm partial to the music side.
You see, she gets off on the music scores, yeah.
See, if it's a 1970s music, it's nice, and I like it that has an old feeling.
Well, actually, we've got an old movie in our collection. We haven't reviewed it, Son of Dracula.
Yeah. We did review that already.
Last year, was it?
Yeah, last year.
And that's got, we did, that's right. It's got some damn good music for that period. It had Harry Nilsson. Harry Nilsson playing it as the Son of Dracula. And it had some of his tunes in it and stuff, and it was really, really good. It had contemporary music done by Harry Nilsson, and it had some Harry Nilsson and other decent, well-known musicians in it, playing in the bands in it, even though it was a Dracula spoof.
Yeah, anyway,
so it's good.
Yeah, so I kind of like that, the 1970s types of music. I mean, I like all age music, depending on the movie itself.
If it's good music, too.
If it has a good score and it's period related, not something that people try to pretend to be period related. It's got
to work.
It's got to work. Is my message.
At something like Harry Potter, the music score for that was good. Mm-hmm. We were talking about Lord of the Rings earlier on for other reasons. Mm-hmm. Before with the podcast. That's got great music in it. Well, but it wouldn't suit every movie. The same as Harry Potter wouldn't suit every movie.
True.
But look at a James Bond movie, they'll get a contemporary song and bung in there's a theme song, or get a song written which might be able to go on to the record circuits, like Goldfinger by Shirley Bassey and stuff.
Moving on, guys. Moving on, guys.
Music.
So I think that's about it for us tonight. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast, and I hope you guys may check out this movie as much as you can, because it's worth watching.
Like I said, you can get it through Amazon Prime, and so if Amazon and eBay have got it, you're going to find other places.
Yeah,
but be careful. There's VHS and Laserdiscs and the music albums and DVDs and CDs out there.
Be careful out there, guys. So
get the right one.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast, and this is Sarah Stephenson
and Michael
saying we'll see you guys for our next podcast. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.